So, never mind all of that. Never mind how you got off track. Never mind that you're off and on track. In other words, you are where you are. And when we say we want you to make peace with where you are, what we really mean is, here you are and all of your power is right now in this poignant, powerful now. And right now, you can choose a thought that feels a little better or a thought that feels a little worse. It's like out there in your future are all of the things that you want, and on one end of the big long stick are the things you really want, and on the other end of the big long stick are things you really don't want, or the absence of what you do want. And in every moment, you're moving toward it, one or the other. You're moving toward things you want or things you don't want, and you can tell by the way you feel what you're moving toward. We want you to be aware of how you feel so you can tell what you're moving toward before it manifests. We call that pre-manifestational awareness. Of course, you can wait until it manifests. We call that post-manifestational awareness. Pre-manifestational awareness is ever so much easier because once something manifests, it gets your attention for quite a long time. There are those x-rays, there are those edicts about whether you'll live or not. There are those arguments, there are those battles. In other words, once something manifests, now you've got more stuff to deal with. But if you catch it in the early subtle stages before it manifests, it's ever so much more easy to direct it the way you want. 99.9999% of every creation is completed vibrationally before you see physical evidence of it. So do you know that you could be sick or without enough money or in a miserable relationship, and you could have been mucking through the contrast and launching all kinds of rockets of desires, and Source is agreeing with you about all the things you want and is calling you toward that. Life is literally summoning you toward it. And as you're moving along, even though it hasn't manifested, if you're feeling hopeful, you're right on track. If you're feeling even slightly hopeful, you're right on track. As you begin to feel a little optimistic, you're even more on track. And when you start believing, manifestation starts taking place. But 99% of the creation is completed before you begin to see any physical evidence. Do you know how often you are right along the way, almost on the brink of manifestation, when you stop and take score and freak out because you're still in Yuma? Even though it's just a short time before you would be in the full-blown manifestation of what you want. People will say to us, Abraham, it just came out of the blue. And we say, no, it didn't. It doesn't just come out of the blue. You've been activated in that vibration and keeping that vibration alive for quite a long time before it manifested. And there has been, whether you are consciously aware of it or not, emotional evidence within you that is letting you know what you're marching toward vibrationally. So, the concept that we want you to consider here today is that out there are all the things you want, and out there are the opposite of all the things you want. And so you today, right now, in every moment, in fact, have the option of choosing a thought that feels better. Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. We think those were wonderful words. But if you are in despair, or even in revenge, or even in frustration sometimes, or even in overwhelmment sometimes, or certainly in anger sometimes you cannot get a whiff of bliss. And when someone tells you that you should be blissful, when somebody's up here bright and fluffy and you're down here not so bright and fluffy, murder seems more appropriate, doesn't it? From where you are, you can just keep sort of forking more in the direction of what you're wanting. Have you noticed that when you drive somewhere, or when you fly somewhere, or when you hike somewhere, that you never take a straight beeline from where you are exactly to your destination? You're moving this way and this way and this way and up and down and over and around. In other words, you're moving in all kinds of logical directions in order to eventually get to where you're wanting to be. And that's the way your contrasting life is. You are multifaceted beings with a multiple of many different intentions and beliefs and vibrations going on inside of you. Some things are really active, some things are not so active, and you've got points of attraction on many different subjects coming to you all the time. You live in an environment where there are so many people around you, so there is a lot of stimulation that you're getting from your friends, from those people that you don't even know, from the television, from what you read. You're picking it up from the ethers, you're getting it from thought forms. In other words, you're getting stimulation from all different levels of your being. And for you to maintain a steady course, you must focus upon, first of all, your intent to feel good. And when when you care about feeling good, you will guide yourself, even without being consciously aware in every moment, you will guide yourself more and more effectively to the thoughts that feel good. So here you stand, and for whatever reason, you're not feeling that good. So you reach for a thought that feels a little better. And it doesn't feel a lot better. It hasn't solved your problem. You didn't immediately get to where you wanted to be, but this thought felt a little better. You may not be aware that this thought felt a little better, so then you think another thought that feels a little worse. In other words, you can fork this way or you can fork this way. As you deliberately fork into what feels a little better, and you acknowledge that you do, now you can maybe fork into something that feels a little better still, and a little better still, and a little better still. And then something happens that was active in your vibration that you weren't even really aware was active in your vibration. And without even meaning to, you fork over here. But because you've been deliberately forking this way and this way and this way, now as you fork over here, you're more aware that you've just forked over there because your intention is to fork over there. So even though you wanted to fork over there, when you forked over there, you didn't feel very good about forking over there, but now you make a new choice and you fork over there. In other words, when you realize that you can just reach for the thought that feels a little bit better, that little bit better feeling thought you have access to, because the little bit better feeling thought is not vibrationally so far apart from the thought that you are thinking now. And eventually you'll get so good at being able to maintain your balance no matter what, that you will finally be free. You will be able to look out into the world, a world where there are terrorists blowing themselves up and others, a world where there are diseases that are taking people, even people that you love, a world where there are bombs being dropped on cities, where families are losing their livelihood and their lives and their heritages. You will reach the place that you can look out into a world with all of this diversity, and you will be able to maintain your balance because you will have shown yourself you can focus and feel and focus and feel and focus and feel. You can maintain the vibrational relationship between who you really are and who you are being in this moment. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. We are eager to visit with you about anything that is important to you. There is no order of business here in the sense that anything is off limits, but you will discover a very comfortable unfolding. We can feel the power of that which you are. We can feel the clarity of that which you are. And we can feel the alignment that has taken place within you as you've settled in to the comforting words of empowerment that we have offered you just now. Before this meeting has come to an end today, it is our desire that above all other things, you will come to the place where you will be satisfied with where you are and eager for more. And by that we mean you will have made peace with where you are, and that regret and shame or unworthiness or discord about where you are will have evaporated from you and will be replaced with an attitude, with a mood, with a sensation of all rightness. Eager for more, but not unhappy with where I am because I cannot get it wrong and I'll never get it done. So even when you fork off to those places that you think you want to be, there are going to be a whole other set of things that you're going to continue to want to fork off toward. In other words, there is no end to what your time-space reality will inspire within you. So getting it done isn't what any of it is about. Having fun in the doing is what it is all about. And if you're not having fun in the doing, then you need to fork off. You need to be more deliberate about they're the ones drawing the dirty pictures. Where are you wanting to begin? Hardly anything. Before we choose anyone, let us just say to you that we can feel what you want to talk about. And we can feel the best way of that unfolding for all of you. So don't worry about being called on. Be eager about it, however. And we will have a wonderful unfolding here today. Begin right here and then here. Yes.